There is a cold wind that blows through the empty corridor of Pine Haven. Faith, you and Achira have been exploring all of the varied tunnels that lie beneath the shopping center that you call home. Your community has taken over one half of a mega mall that has fallen into horrible disrepair as the many years of neglect have worn away at the splendor that this place once offered. The bright colors of the paint and the signage have all faded away. Anything that was once held within this shopping center has mostly been looted at this point. But the concrete walls and rebar are made of steel and rock, and they offer you tactical advantages, walls that you can use. You've built yourself a fortress here. After traveling with a group known as the Ender's Line, working as rag and bone merchants in an extended network of individuals that traveled between communities, you've set ground and roots here within this place. Until recently, you had nearly 40 individuals under your care. People that had been here before, some that had come on the legends that were spread of Blockbuster and his secret lair, his safe house, a Cold War installation hidden somewhere on these grounds. However, nothing has been found. And after a year, you and all of the survivors under your care have done their best. Recently, however, there was an attack, and in that attack, individuals parading as members of a group known as the Shepherds attacked you, trying to instigate something that you still don't understand. Many were killed in that fight. More importantly, the defenses of your community were compromised. You've ordered the majority of your community to shelter in a secondary set of living quarters that all of you have carved out of a specific point within the mall. It is a large, spacious area, once a JCPenney. It has now become a smaller, inclusive fortress with bunks stacked on top of each other and barbed wire stretched out across the walls and any entrance and window that exists within the space. Everything has been blocked off and you are mostly safe here. Still, there are those that stand guard. And as this cold wind blows through the corridors, as you and Achira move through with a small group of Achira's foundlings, you're finding traps set by individuals that you believe were once part of your community. Defectors and traitors who have used their intelligence against you. These bombs, they're familiar to you. There are tripwires, homemade explosives, and other dangers that have been set out to make your job difficult, if not impossible. But you, Achira, and the foundlings have done your best to carefully make your way through this portion of Pine Haven. The southern gate is dangerous, more exposed than your northern gate. Many dead roam the hallways, and there are open areas that simply cannot be closed. So from the snowy wilderness beyond, the Pennsylvanian wilderness spews forth unyielding numbers of the dead who are slower in the winter, but not stopped. The black bile in their veins pushes them forward. The two of you, both Achira and Faith, have agreed upon a plan of action. Would you please refresh us on what that plan is?
We had planned to make our way down to the lowest part of the perimeter, so I believe through the area, the break room that Achira was investigating before, to try to get past that and see if we could get lower and find Blockbuster's bunker, basically. We know there's something hidden down here, so we're going to search for it.
Yeah. When we were faced with the padlocked door, we have bolt cutters that we were going to utilize in that way to continue our exploration. It was ourselves plus, Blossom TV and Bebe were sent on a scouting.
You have both DT and Sugar with you as well.
Yes.
DT is a new wildling under your care, and Sugar is a Romero, sister to DT, tolerated by your group now. She has proven herself to be useful and somewhat safe, but still quite controversial amongst your survivors.
She's walking Uncanny Valley.
So, you said that you were going to cut your way through the double doors that had been chained. Obviously, someone wanted to block your way off here so that you wouldn't be able to pass this way. Since you had decided to be careful about this, I'm going to have you make just one roll.
Okay.
So Faith, are you handling those cutters as you approach the chain door?
Yes.
Very well. I want you to make a composure check.
Yikes. That's an 83 over a 41.
So you have 4 degrees of failure to start with. That means that...
We're in formation, though. Wait.
I did not...
Yeah, but for it possibly in the future.
Yeah, it will help you in other instances, but not here.
Yeah.
This failure, I think, is attributed to everything that's happening. I think, Faith, your mind is racing. You're thinking about everything that has happened within the past few days, about the betrayal within your community, about who has set these traps, and perhaps you're beginning to question your ability to lead this many people. Do you wish to continue to be lost in these thoughts, or would you like to spend some competency to break out of it?
I will spend some competency. I believe we have 4 in the pool, and then I have my personal. That's so many. I'm gonna just spend, so that's 4, 3 to make it a wash.
3 of your own.
Yeah.
It's 4 degrees of failure.
Right. Oh, so 5.
To make it
5 would make it
success.
a success.
And then 4 would be, okay. I'll just make it a wash then. Still, I don't. That's so many right off the bat. So I'll use. I'll just make that a 0 then.
Very well. That is still a failure.
Yep.
You are not as distracted as you would be normally. You push these thoughts out of your mind and you continue to work. As you cut through the bolts and you examine the boxes and crates that have been stacked here, it becomes apparent that this is not a bomb. They have simply done this to slow you down. However, you have chosen to do this slowly. And so, with your composure roll being a failure, there is noise that is made.
Okay.
It is not a silent, careful procedure in moving these boxes as you had hoped. This is for you and everyone that you're leading right now. All of you are trying, but it seems that there's a tension in the air, heavy, that hangs there. Achira, you're very aware of it. You're aware of Faith. You know Faith well. And something isn't right.
I know that you have this. You obviously do.
It's just the.
Nothing's wrong.
Mm-hmm.
That was a pretty loud noise when the boxes fell over. And I'm just saying that whoever might be on the other side of this door, if there's someone, would know that we're coming. So,
Listen, I think these traps were set a long time ago. I don't think anyone's actively down here hunting us right now. With everything that just happened upstairs, I'm sure they're gone for now.
I'm just saying, let's go through these doors like we're expecting them to be there.
lead the way? You're stealthy.
I think stealth might not be because of that noise. I think it's more big and bad.
I've taken 20 additional risk due to the noise that's been created.
Okay, cool.
You step into the service hallway, and you make your way through. Down, back through the break room that you had discovered. There doesn't seem to be any new traps here. It just seems as though whoever had blocked this way had done so perhaps before you originally discovered it. You make your way in, and behind the refrigerator still is the hole that has been carved through the wall. You lead off, and you make your way down a long ladder. To your horror, Sugar follows after.
She's gotten really good at motor skills.
How is Sugar doing going on the ladder?
It is clumsy, slow, and awkward. But she is climbing down a ladder.
Was she last or is she first?
DT is last.
Okay.
She did this before, by the way, which is probably why she's doing it a bit better than she did before.
Oh, great. Well,
she learns.
just slow and steady is fine. We'll wait, I guess.
Faith, all I can think of is she can't be unique. If there are Romeros out there that are like this, that can learn, that are malicious, that want to feed, want to eat.
I don't know. I mean, everything that happened with Lampwick, I guess I'll believe anything. We don't know a lot about the Romeros other than they kill, but this one is definitely different, and I'm no scientist, but this could change things.
DT slides down the ladder, placing her boots on either side of it and her hands on the rails, and just drops down quickly and looks at both of you, dusting herself off. She's got black and white striped tights on, long black kind of lacy dress on, and is now wearing a jacket that was given to her. It has already been tailored and painted and made special with all of the beads and other things that were held within Polly Pocket's personal room.
Keep driving that home.
Little knickknacks and colorful baubles, remnants that had been saved by Polly from the world that was, now hang from this jacket. She looks at both of you. You both talk a lot.
We're just trying to figure out the best way to do things together.
I don't know together very well, but it can't help us if we make too much noise.
Yeah, okay. I got that note earlier. Thank you, everybody, for letting me know that I was making too much noise. Certainly you and your sister are always together, so you can understand that maybe our group, our community, is sort of like you and your sister, but there's just more of us. A little different than you and your sister, but...
DT looks to her sister Sugar and says, "Hush." And she stops.
Ooh, does that work?
I don't know what you're doing. I refuse to look at you.
Doesn't work. Doesn't.
Not until they're dead. And DT skips off down the sewer passage as Sugar lumbers after her. The other wildlings have moved ahead, and Bebe and the others make hand signals back to you. There are a series of communications that you have worked out. Faith, you're also aware of what these signals mean. In the case of when your very sporadic radio contact breaks apart, if somebody has a walkie or something like that, if you're able to keep those maintained, it's helpful. But more often than not, you are forced to rely on more immediate and useful means of communication. So they give a couple of hand signals that more or less tell you that everything seems to be clear, but the Romeros are still chained to the wall ahead.
The security system that I said was there is still there.
Right. We should probably take care of that.
Let's start searching down here.
So
As-
not kill the Romeros that are chained to the wall, or leave them? Because I kind of vote kill them.
It's okay with me either way. I just want to get this search done as quickly as possible.
All right. Okay. All right, let's go through. In the spirit of quickness, I will leave the Romeros that are there as long as the chains look like they'll hold.
The chains are very, very heavy, and they are very securely wrapped around multiple parts of these Romeros, almost excessively. It slows them down, but it also causes them to make a great deal of noise when people walk past them. It is possible for them to grab onto somebody if they were to rush or not pay attention, and there seems to be a pattern to it. Some of them lean closer so that the chains allow them to go to the left side of the tunnel while the others are the right, and often they alternate, but then those patterns get broken, and the asymmetry of it makes it dangerous if you were to assume that a certain Romero couldn't reach you. You have to move carefully. Assuming that you do this, and don't kill any of the Romeros, I'm not going to increase your risk or spend any risk. You've been through this pathway before. However, it is at this point that we're going to start the first of many rolls. You have started an expedition, you have left your surviving camp on their own, hoping for the best, but while you're gone, you're going to search for this stronghold, for this hidden bunker. Now, it's very well hidden, and what you need are a series of successes, not just one. And every roll is going to represent a period of time. If you would like to spend competency, your own or the pool that has been created for you, we can expedite this process. However, it will not be quick regardless of how you do this. So, both of you can make search rolls. And as always, failure, and certainly drastic failure, takes away from the successes that you've built.
All right.
I'll be using my recon gear for this.
Absolutely.
That's a 0.
Whoa.
This is searcher.
You rolled 100 on your
That's
first
100.
roll.
Oh, was it 100?
Yeah.
There is no 0 on the dice.
That
But they
was
all say 0.
They all say 0.
Well, that's cool. I got excited for a minute.
Yeah, no, that happened to me
Sorry.
once, and I was like, oh, and it's like, no.
It's 5 degrees of failure
It is 5.
automatically.
Yeah.
Lucky for you, we can't go beyond 5 degrees of failure.
Okay, well, that was a really good roll on my part.
That's good.
It wasn't 5 degrees of success good, but it was good nonetheless. Okay,
Now, I will allow
34.
this catastrophic failure on your part, Faith, to be
24.
mitigated as Achira figures out how many degrees
I got
she
3
has.
degrees of success.
That's very good. However, you still have a catastrophic failure from Faith. So, Faith, would you like to mitigate this?
Yes, because I kind of have to.
I'll also toss in some to make this success. I'll toss in 2 of my own to make this a wash. I'll toss
Are
in
we adding
3.
this together?
We're adding this together, right?
Or no?
Or how are we doing this?
Collective success and failure works together. So you can spend, as a group, any competency that you wish to help each other, because you are working as a whole. However, because you've rolled a 100, Faith, I have something special for you.
Cool.
I'm going to spend 50 risk right now.
It's been a pleasure, everyone.
So tell me how you're resolving this.
I've got to use everything, I guess. I have 3 in my personal pool. Why don't I just take 1 from the group? I'll use 3 of mine, and I'll have 1 degree of failure instead of 5. That way I don't die immediately.
All right.
There we go, that's fair.
So you have 3 degrees of failure.
Yes.
And how many degrees of success does Achira have?
I have 3 degrees of success without using competency, which I'm about to use competency.
How many competency would you like to spend?
Sorry, I have 1 degree of failure.
Very well.
Okay, great. So, wash, 1 degree of success, 2 degrees of success. Ew. I guess that would be 4. Ouch.
You're spending 4 competency. You can't go beyond 5 degrees of success. So you already have 3.
I have 3 degrees of success, but there's 1 degree of failure here, so
on
that's
this.
2 degrees.
You're trying to mitigate that as well.
Yeah,
Yeah, you
so
can spend
that's
them to mitigate those.
that's 2 degrees of success that I have right now. I will use 2 of mine to make this 4 degrees of success all together.
Noted. 4 degrees of success has been achieved. Faith, because of my risk expenditure, you have aggravated your gunshot wound.
Oh, yeah, that.
You have a gunshot wound that you incurred in the battle that took place in your community. It is a shoulder wound that has been cared for. The bullet has been removed and it has been bandaged. However, as you're pulling through rubble, trying to search through the areas that you and your group discover, you realize that you're weeping a large amount of blood through your bandages, and that it's not just blood. It's also a thick, yellowy pus. You're worried that perhaps your wound is infected. We'll come back to the two of you as you continue to search, and then we will be moving you forward in time.
Okay.
I would encourage both of you to make some plans as to how this proceeds. You currently have 4 degrees of success in your search. Polly.
Yeah.
It's dark. You're in the attic of the old, decrepit, gray caretaker's house that stands in the center of a mountainous camp once used by Christian followers to bring the faithful into retreat and revelry. Since your wounds in the explosion caused by Kusanagi, you have been unable to hear. It seemed as though your hearing was always lost to you, and you had been learning to deal with this since you had awoken. However, you have found Lampwick is the one who saved you and brought you to this place. And you had followed your way back out to escape, only to be stopped by strange, armored individuals with very, very deadly weaponry. You made your way back here, you ran, you followed Lampwick's instructions. Lampwick, what did you tell Polly?
I told her to go home.
And so you did. You found this house. You saw the boy Jacob enter into this place, and you knew that there was something in here. Despite your fear, you pushed forward. Spike, a scrappy, ragged mutt, followed with you, and you made your way higher and higher towards the attic, following after some shadow that seemed to be present and here with you, leading you forward. And as you came into the attic, there was a trap door that led here, and it has slammed shut, keeping you here. You can hear the music, and you just heard the voice. You are home.
Is there any space behind me in the attic? Is it all in front?
You don't know. Your torch has been blown out, and all you see is the faint light peeking through the boards ahead of you. There is cloth hanging above you, old rusted bicycle wheels, forgotten pieces of someone's life, the dusty remains of a world completely alien to you, hangs above you. In the creaking of the wood, you can't hear it, but you can feel it as it reverberates through, and the music from that invisible Victrola fades in and out. What do you do?
I grab Spike and I push my way back, not even looking back at what it might be, trying to just like hit a wall, get into a corner, get as far away from this person as possible.
You throw yourself backwards. Eventually, you feel boxes tumble around you and crash as you hold close to the warm body of the mutt.
Push him behind me.
You can feel him whining, though you can't hear him. You feel the vibrations through your chest. You push him behind you, and something keeps falling on you. Cobwebs, but something else.
I look at what it is, I try.
Paper. Photographs. Old, glossy photographs are tacked to the wall here, and so many of them have fallen like rain down around you, but you can't see all, just the images on them are hidden from you, but you do see the shapes raining down. And in that pale, pale light on the other side of the room that's peeking through the boards that are closing that window off from the night air, you see a silhouette moving to you. Crawling on the floor.
Don't come any closer.
Closer and closer to you.
Stop. I don't have any weapons, but I just hold out a hand.
The figure doesn't stop. And as your hand is held out, you feel the shape run the flesh of their cheek against your hand. You feel a slick, strange flesh with bone close to the surface. And now the figure blocks out all the light as the music continues to play.
My hand is like pressed into the front of this creature's face, and I twist it to try to feel what I can't see.
I'd like for you to make a composure roll with 3 black dice of difficulty added to
Makes
it.
a whole lot of sense. How much do I have of that? It's okay. Okay.
Oh, come on.
Nothing exploded. Okay, so that is a 33 plus 9 is a 42, which is what, 1 degree of success? Correct? 45
Yes,
is my...
1
okay.
degree of success. Do you wish to amplify that success? I would offer you something from the communal pool, but I'm afraid that it's
It's not very,
not
not
full
very
at
full
all.
right now. I'm going to spend 1 of my own to take that to 2 degrees of success.
2 degrees of success. You don't freeze. You don't go catatonic, but you are afraid. But you push past that fear, and you carefully move your hand across what you can't see in front of you. You still feel the flesh, but now it's as if there are patches of wispy long hair that your hand is pushing through, and a long, strong, spindly neck. Too long. That leads to what feels like a large, twisted spine, like a corkscrew.
As I reach the end of the back, I draw my hand back like it's been burned, and I say, "How are you doing that?" In my head, Your father. No, but I know your father. Okay? And he wants me to stay safe.
You feel a long, spindly hand raise up and just almost a mirror of what you did to it, stroke across your face and move down your shoulder and to your back. The fingers feel wrong. There are too many of them. And they're far, far too long. The palm is twisted, and you feel the flesh across your face. It feels like a hurricane of skin and bone and muscle. And there's a reek to all of it.
Why don't you show me the blue star, huh?
The music fades in and out, and it's as if it's in a vacuum. You can't hear the room, you realize now that Spike has been barking this whole time. Barking and growling, but you were too frightened to realize it, and the small, scrappy mutt that you hold close to your chest out of fear is attempting to attack this figure in front of you, but isn't.
Isn't because I'm holding him, or isn't because of something else?
You don't know.
Down, boy. I try to calm him down. The last time we tried to attack something, it didn't go so well for us. What's the blue star, huh?
Will you come with me? You're so pretty.
Where?
To sit with my friends.
Oh, God.
I want to bring you to tea. Come with me. Come meet my family.
Oh, this is bad. Yeah. Why don't you show me your family?
You feel the hands grab one of yours and start to pull you further back into the attic. It's dark and you're stumbling over things, and the figure is still crawling ahead of you. As you get closer, those shafts of light begin to illuminate things, and your eyes adjust, and you can see more than just silhouettes. This figure is malformed and twisted. Close to the ground, it is human, in theory. Long, straggly, dark hair hides the face. You haven't seen it. You think she's wearing a dress, tattered, ripped to shreds, filthy. She's bringing you forward past the toys and boxes and old photographs that are strewn everywhere, and you can barely make out pictures of black and white images that are wallpapered everywhere from a world you don't understand. And in one of those shafts of light, as the moon rakes across this place, you see a small round table. Dolls have been set here, many of them, in a circle.
As
Broken
we're walking
things.
along, can I look out for any holes in the floor? Anything?
The only thing you see is the boarded window. Other than the hatch that you entered into, that seems to be the only exit.
Then let's go have tea.
This twisted figure pulls you forward, and without showing you her face, she seems to be trying to hide it from you. She pushes you down into a seated position with the dolls and strokes her long, spindly fingers once more across your face, and you can see now that her limbs are jointed in strange ways. Her arms bend both ways as she moves back, and her legs pull up unnaturally around her as she sits across the table, holding her hands over her face.
Your dress is very pretty.
I like your face.
Oh, no. I'm gonna stand up. I'm gonna put some distance between. No. Mm-mm.
Make another composure check
Yeah.
for me, please.
Oh, God. Any difficulty dice?
You have 3 black difficulty dice on this roll. And I will remind you that any of the hunter's H's are exploding dice that you have to reroll.
Yeah. Okay.
No exploding dice. That's a shame.
For you, that is still an 11 on those, though, so 45. So that's a wash.
45 out of 45.
45 out of 45.
So that is a failure, but not in any way catastrophic. It just means that it's an inconvenience to you. I think if you spend competency, we will keep you from being frozen in fear.
Yeah, 1 point, it's fine. 1
With
point.
1 point of competency spent, how many do you have left?
4.
All right. The figure still holds her hands across her face, and your eyes have adjusted now with this thin amount of moonlight that's peering through here. There are patches of flesh and boils, large, warty skin, and strange growths that are twisted across a malformed head that is far too large for this body. The dolls, as you step back, collapse and fall forward.
That wasn't very nice.
I'm sorry. But you have to understand.
You made Amanda fall.
I'm sorry, Amanda.
Pick Amanda back up.
Okay.
Do it now.
I do it immediately.
You pick the doll back up.
Sit Amanda next to Nora.
Which one is Nora?
Blue dress. No, that's Faith. Set Amanda next to Nora!
Okay. There she goes.
Good. Have you seen the blue star?
Yes.
It's ready.
Is it?
You've seen the blue
That'll be really nice.
Drink the tea!
I look down at the tea.
There's nothing in the cup.
Yep. I'm gonna pretend to drink that fucking tea.
Your hand is shaking as you hold the little broken china cup up to your mouth.
As I finish taking a sip, I say, hey, I know Amanda's name and Nora's name and Faith's name, but I don't know your name. Why don't you tell me your name, huh?
My name. Father calls me Providence.
Okay.
You hold the shaking china cup up to your mouth. This broken attic girl is hiding her face from you. You're surrounded by busted dolls and old photographs. The music keeps playing, and you hear her voice, but you hear nothing else. Spike is still barking, but you don't hear it. And we'll come back to you. Lampwick. This con was supposed to be easy. It was an easy con. In and out, really. It's 1990. You're a very young man. Handsome. Quick. Intelligent. Most importantly, often underestimated. You're learning the ropes. You're walking up to an old motel. You're meeting a man of power here. You've done this grift before, time and time again. His family doesn't know. His wife certainly doesn't know. And with a little finagling, you're going to have a whole year where you don't have to worry about money if you play this right. The door's number is 113. As you walk up the steps, you hear music playing. Strange, sort of broken, like a Victrola. What do you do?
This is my first time meeting this person?
Yes. But you've talked on the phone a lot.
Mm-hmm.
You've talked on the phone. Explicitly. You know what this man wants from you.
So what I would have done is I would have, at this point, upon approaching the door, I would have clocked any other exits and ways here, any other staircases or anything.
Mm-hmm.
And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna knock, you know, that kind of friendly, like, just 1, 2, 3, thud, thud, thud. And then I'm gonna go around the corner. I wanna see who might pop their head out.
A somewhat rotund man with gray hair, older, perhaps in his late 50s, early 60s, steps out in a bathrobe with a towel over his shoulder. His hair's still wet. He looks around. He's holding a glass of whiskey. Looks sort of suspicious and then closes the door as he steps back in.
All right. I'll do it again.
The door swings open, creaking into a dark, candlelit room.
Hey.
I'm glad you're here. Didn't think you'd show.
What makes you think that?
Young men like you are hard to lock down. Always full of spit and vinegar.
I start to make my way in, and I put like a very friendly like touch on his shoulder that I let linger.
You do so.
And I say, "Oh, you have not met a lot of men like me."
I believe that's true, son. And you feel his hand with his wedding ring touch onto yours.
I'm going to touch the wedding ring. I'm gonna put my hand on top of his, and I'm gonna kind of let it kind of slide down. I want to just sort of gently get a feel for the wedding ring, get a sense of how tight it is on his finger.
This man has clearly gained a lot of weight since he was married, and this ring feels like it's pretty tightly affixed to his hand. You don't even think he takes it off when he sleeps. There's calluses around it as you touch the hand. However, you think that if he's drunk enough, anything's possible.
I'm going to point at his glass of whiskey, and I'm going to ask him, so is there one for me?
Just one. And you haven't seen his face yet, and he stands and he walks across the room to a headboard that's got some shelving on it. He takes this bottle of very expensive whiskey. It's Japanese. He uncorks it and he pours a glass. You take it straight.
Not usually.
Me either. But you know, appearances.
Oh, I know.
He turns, and instead of a face, he has a rotten skeleton. His skull is exposed and the flesh putrefied. The eyes in front of you burst and run down his cheeks like tears as blood, gore, and white viscera pours forth. His mouth is open and black bile spills forth from it. Well, let's get to it, handsome.
Does this seem unusual to me, where I'm
You
at
don't
in
know
this
what's
place?
happening. Your memories are flawed again, broken, and you realize in this moment that this is either another of your dreams or you're losing more of it, of your past.
I walk up to him and I put my hands on his face and I wipe the tears from his eyes. And I say, "You also are not like other men, are you?"
Well, compared to you and everything you are,
Everything you could be. Everything you will be. I am nothing. You are eternal.
I grab him by the hand. "You are not to be ashamed of what you are."
the body, large and ponderous, the robe slips off, and this old naked flesh just falls to the ground as he rots in your hands. And he steps close, and he puts his bony fingers on either side of your face.
Thank you, Father.
and you realize you're standing in a snowdrift. And there's burnt, broken trees all around you. Shattered bits and remains of what can only be the soldiers that attacked you. Small pieces of their armor, bone, blood, mostly just char. They were carrying some sort of explosive, and they used it in their final moments to ensure that you couldn't take anything from them.
I'm going to search what remains of them. Is there any flesh?
Very little.
Is who I just referred to me as father, are they near me?
There's no one in front of you. You're alone. In fact, your children, as it were, the strange, quick, agile creatures that stalked amongst the swarm that you hold here within Babylon, the three of them are now very dead.
I'm going to take, if I can find really quickly any, I was eating a heart that I pulled from one of these.
You were.
Is there any of that left in my hand?
Yes.
I'm going to take that, keep it with me, and I'm going to go to one of my children, one that seems, the one that's nearest.
Twisted, long, dark limbs. Strange, agile features that have sort of melted into their shoulders. They have huge slit-like mouths, but they're almost unrecognizable. The weapons that these people used tore them apart.
If I can, I'm going to take this one and kind of slump it over my shoulder and head back home.
There's still that echo of that Victrola in your head, and the fog in your mind starts to pull back, and you realize that there's someone else here, someone who doesn't belong, an outsider. And then you remember her face. You remember Polly and the fear that she held when she saw you. You remember her being blasted in that gas station, nearly killed by the man that had led her there, who you knew in your life as Kusanagi. But she's here somewhere. What do you do?
Do I remember my last words to her?
Go home?
Mm-hmm.
You walk back to the camp.
I do.
Through the snow drifts, there are a few straggling members of your horde that just begin following after you, complicitly shuffling and dragging themselves in the cold as black bile spills down their chest. Many of them in varied states of undress and rot. But they don't seem affected. They seem unaware of everything. But there are exceptions. And from time to time, the groaning stops, and you know they're looking at you, watching everything that you do, waiting. You step into Babylon, and a young boy runs up to you. This is Jacob. He is thin, nearly starved, wearing rags, heavy wool coat. It's been worn down to a
Jacob,
mess.
where is our visitor?
Father, yes. Our guest is safe.
Good. I lay down the body of one of the children. The one that I slumped over. See if you can find a way to bring this back to us.
Oh, Father, I will pray. We will all pray. And you see two women, also in more or less rags, pull themselves forward, just as starved as Jacob, sort of ghosts of what humanity is. They are pale and they shuffle forward. One is named Eunice and the other is Eva. And they, alongside Jacob, fall into a prayer circle and begin muttering to each other around the body of the child that you've returned.
I'm going to scan the other undead that are near me, and I'm going to try to find the one that I feel seems more aware.
There's a large figure that always stands off from the rest of the horde. He seems to have gotten bigger as the days have gone on.
I will approach. I imagine I need to reach up.
Mm-hmm.
I touch their face.
He's nearly 7 feet tall. You don't remember him being that tall, but here he is.
You're growing. Do you understand me? Come with me, and I'm going to grab his hand, and I'm going to guide him down to his knees, and I'm going to kneel next to him.
He kneels next to you and follows your directions.
I take a bite out of the heart, whatever's left of it, and I start to chew it. And I'm going to feed him.
He ravenously eats from your hand.
And I take the bite that I was chewing, and I spit it out into my hand, and I feed that into his mouth.
And as you do, you watch the veins pulse with black life through the pale flesh of this figure, this massive Romero.
Clancy.
Clancy. I need you to help me protect our friends. And I'm going to turn to everyone that can hear me. I need you all to help. We lost some of our family today.
Silence falls across your horde. They all are watching you as you stand in the snow and speak to the dead. We'll take a short break and be right back. Thank you for joining us. Each of you have made rolls. You have determined the direction that this search is going as you scour Pine Haven for the hidden underground safe house that has been rumored to be within the space of your community's boundaries somewhere here. And you've searched through tunnels. And now we're going to continue those rolls as time moves forward. You currently have built in 4 successes in this search. So let's have you make 2 more rolls to represent the rest of that time. Both of which are search, and you can use any sort of equipment that you have. There are 6 competency within the communal pool at this point. You can use those should you see fit.
Okay, so that's 2 degrees of failure for me. I will go ahead and grab, well, let's see what Achira gets first, actually.
Hard choice when we don't have like 14 in there.
Yeah.
I rolled a 2. So that helps. My search is 48.
A 2 is good.
So that's what, 1 degree of success combined? Is that correct?
That's how it seems to me.
Okay.
Well, 2, because that's 4 degrees of success.
Oh, is it 4?
Yeah, because I have a 48 in
Okay.
search. I'm sorry, what is it?
But
again?
against
2 negative.
two,
Okay,
so it's
so
2 degrees of success. So you now have 6 degrees of success on your side for the search.
Yeah.
And while you're away from the community, a week passes.
Jesus.
You camp in some of these tunnels. You and the wildlings find some food. There are rats. Lots of rats. If you want fresh meat, that is what Bebe and the others prepare. They create small smokeless fires in these tunnels, and they roast dead rats. There are some provisions that you've brought with you, but I'd like for you to remove any provisions, painkillers, medicine, or other items that you would have used within this week. Anything that you're carrying with you will slowly be depleted as this week of searching in these tunnels goes by.
Okay. Then for that week, then Achira's used up the antibody stock that they
You had
'cause
antibiotics.
I had antibiotics for 7 days.
You also had painkillers.
Achira made a point to not utilize hers. Like she would do quarter to half doses, so she would still have some. But I don't know if the same was with Faith.
Faith, you cannot sleep. You are dealing with searing pain in your shoulder due to what happened before as you were digging through the concrete.
I would have been using the painkillers at the regular dosage. I would have also been using, there is a first aid kit on us, so I would have used that to try to assess my wounds and repair them a little more than they are, if I thought I was becoming infected during this time.
Expend those resources and we'll allow it to happen. I'm not going to make you make any rolls for this week. It's
Okay.
when you're out of resources that things are going to get more hectic. Now, I want each of you to take a single D6 and roll it for me as you're both taking painkillers that are homemade.
6, or they explode.
You need to re-roll it.
I got a 3.
6 or 7.
So it counts as 5, so 7. You got a 7.
Is that good? Because it's higher?
It's bad.
I just thought it'd be different this time.
Since you have broken past 6 on that roll, you're very woozy for the last 2 days. You aren't in pain, but your mind is clouded. You find yourself unable to concentrate. And I think this is apparent to you, Achira, as you and the group continue to work. Now, do we want to do anything before we roll for the second week?
I'm good for continuing the roll.
We can continue, it's fine.
You push
Yeah.
past all of these disadvantages that are piling up against you, Faith. I'd like for both of you to roll your search one last time to represent the second week as you search the underground tunnels beneath Pine Haven for the bomb shelter that is rumored to be here.
1 degree of success, finally, something.
Nice.
It's like a labyrinth here. There are tunnels that stretch off. Some are sewer pipes, but some are clearly maintenance and access spaces that were meant to help sustain this enormous shopping center. Each room brings to you new challenges. There is a lot that has been buried in the collapses that have occurred over time. There is as much digging here as there is searching. How many degrees of success or failure have you accumulated?
Okay, so I rolled a 24. I have a 48. So is that 3 degrees of success in? Because
We can
34,
call it
44.
3. Yeah. So
Okay.
3 degrees of success, and you had 1 degree of success, which means that with the 4 collectively, you have garnered 10 degrees of success. With 10 degrees of success at the end of 2 weeks, you are certain of where this bunker is not. However, there is one place that you think it might be. There is a very large area towards the very far end of what would be underneath the south gate parking lot. The tunnel there has collapsed. And it's going to take a very concentrated effort to pull it free. If you wish to explore further, the amount of rock that will need to be mined out of this space is more than your small group can do. Both of you believe, and the rest of your group concurs, this is it. If it is in fact here. It could be an enormous waste of your resources. Your group is surviving off of the rats that are present here. Most of the food is gone. Water is easy to come by, but you have to emerge from the tunnels to gather snow to melt down and boil. Do you return to your community at this point, or do you begin pushing forward, hoping to discover more about this place?
I think I would call to return to the community. But what did Jared do?
Odds, return,
Rolling.
evens, continue forward.
Because the dice have been so kind to you.
Okay, Achira wants to continue forward.
Alright.
One last search check from both of you. And I will say you are pushing the limits of your resources. I'd like for each of you, actually no, Faith, you're the leader. I'd like for you to make a competency for the entire group. Or I'm sorry, a composure for the entire group.
We're in formation.
You're in a battle formation as you dig through the rubble.
Yes.
Oh, amazing.
Noted.
That's 11 over 41, so that's 3 degrees of success.
You and the wildlings push forward, determined to make this happen, knowing that this might be the only opportunity that you have to find this place, and that in finding it, you might save the lives of everyone you're caring for. If there are self-sustaining places here that provide food and shelter and security, you need to find it. This winter has just begun. And while you don't make it through the rubble in this next week, as you push into the third week, I will tell you, you discover something very important. You unearth an old sign from the world that was. First you see the yellow, tarnished and aged, and then you see the letters. Someone has dragged a Blockbuster sign down here, and there are shattered tapes everywhere. Additionally, Achira, you have some experience in this. You think this tunnel was purposely detonated and collapsed.
Well, the sign's here, so this is clearly the right place.
This is definitely I can tell you there was no Blockbuster underneath this parking lot. So this is definitely, I mean, essentially, we have found it. I've been in a bunker where the only entrance and exit was buried in rubble before. It's a lot to get through. It can be done, but we've spent too much time down here. At this point, I need to see if Polly has returned, and if she hasn't, it's time to go get her. We can, at this point, get some of the other community in here to start excavating this.
Oh, I don't disagree. So, I think I've had enough time hanging out with your wild children and DT and sugar. It's been a lot. It's been a long 3 weeks. I agree. Let's mark where we are.
I do want to note that in this entire time, Sugar has not been aggressive to any of you and has worked tirelessly day and night moving rubble. She's been invaluable.
Is there, from where we found the sign, can we see anything at this point, or is it still just kind of
It's
rolled
just
off?
rubble beyond
Okay.
rock and stone.
All right, I think we should go back up, and I agree with you. Send a different team down here. We need to replenish supplies. We didn't find what we were looking for, but up top they're probably running really scarce in supplies as well.
I don't know. I think we might be selling them a bit short. Just because the two of us weren't up there doesn't mean that they didn't find something or were able to take care of themselves. They did take care of themselves before we got here.
Yeah, well, I think we're all tired of eating rat, so...
Well, you know, rat burger is still a burger.
I would like for Achira to make a spot listen check, as Faith is too foggy from the painkillers to do so.
Don't be a zero. Don't be a zero. Is that a 6 or a 9? That's
Either
a
way,
6.
it's a good number of successes.
Yeah, I rolled a 6. My
So you have
so
4
5
degrees-
five
five-
degrees.
5
That'd be
degrees of
5
success.
degrees of success on this spot listen.
You know it's a ways away, and you're underground right now, but you can hear a helicopter.
I know you're not going to believe me, because I almost don't believe it. But somebody's coming, just like how we got here.
Faith,
This is the first time I've hoped that it's Riggs and not somebody else.
you've only ever known the Citadel to have a helicopter, but that doesn't mean they're the only ones.
We need to get back now.
Yeah, this could be bad. All
They
right.
need to not know about this.
I was gonna say earlier, let's keep this to ourselves, okay? Everyone, wild children, everyone, this is just for our ears and our eyes only right now. We will deal with this once we get back up top, but don't tell anybody where this is.
Sugar, don't say anything to anyone about this. You can't let them know. It's a secret.
Sugar will not tell anybody. So, okay, let's go.
We're heading up top.
So you're going to find the quickest access point back into the parking lot and then make your way above ground?
Yes.
All right. You find a ladder, everybody starts climbing up, and as you do, you hear the helicopter circling in the distance close to the shopping center. It's night, and there's clearly like a light, a spotlight, that is shining across sort of the scattered Romeros that are roaming in this area. This is Southgate. It's certainly nothing that you and the others can't handle. This is another walk in the park for you. Killing these dead things is easy. So all of you start to emerge from a manhole that has been pushed aside by the rest of the wildlings, and you're in deep snow. The chill of the air, while cold, is a welcome difference to what you've been smelling for the past few days. Rot and filth and stagnant water. So as you're standing there, you start making your way back to the mall, and you're marching across. You're killing Romeros as they come too close.
Yes.
Yes.
You're using your weapons. Tell me how you're doing this.
If they're close enough, I would try to just use my knife to try not to waste ammunition and make noise.
I'm doing hand scythe. Going for next and being stealthy.
Bebe and the others, as they do, in almost a whirl and a dance, clear a swath ahead of you. Your children are very good at what they do, and they're quick and quiet, and they hunker close to the ground, and with spears and sharp machetes that have been jaggedly worked by the hands of others within your community. They kill countless numbers of the dead as you push forward towards your home. And you see the broken entrance of Southgate and the old Pine Haven sign hanging precariously above you as you get closer and closer. There were some cars here that at one point were supposed to help block this off, but it became too difficult before Southgate was completely abandoned. And you're making your way there to this kind of half-finished barricade with rusted-out vehicles. And then you see the helicopter and the light. It's Citadel. And you see the light work its way across all of you, and they start clearing the dead around you with machine gun fire.
Well, that's nice of them. Loud as hell, but what are you gonna do?
Riggs almost never cares. Helping with one hand and making things difficult with the other.
All right, we know it's just Citadel. I don't know why they're here. Let's just head in for now. They'll land and come in on their own.
You hear a scream from above. Booyah! As a shot cracks
Oh, it's that shit.
and something falls right behind you. Sugar's body drops to the ground. And DT screams as the helicopter lands on your roof.
Oh my god.
Oh, DT, I'm so sorry.
Oh my god.
She's shaking and crying over the body. No. Sugar. As she grabs on, there's not much head left as the body reels back. DT is almost catatonic with grief as she quiets, hugging the body of Sugar close to her in the snow that's covered in black bile.
Fuck. Oh, shit.
God.
Okay, everyone help me get DT and I guess the body of Sugar, at least against the wall. She can't function right now. We just gotta pull her into safety. Come on.
She doesn't let go of the body.
We lift them
It takes
both.
everyone
Yeah.
to pull them both. However, there's black bile everywhere and you have open wounds. I need you both to make some rolls.
Fucking Riggs.
Oh my god. What role is this again for?
This is, I don't know, dodge?
No, there's no dodging gore, not in this game. I'd actually like you to make endurance checks.
Endurance, okay.
No. That is not something that Achira's good at.
Well, it's real cool playing with y'all.
That's
That's a 97 over
Ooh.
35.
Oh my god.
Don't roll a 0. Don't roll a 0. Don't roll
Four,
a 0.
five.
Don't roll a 4.
I mean, 5 degrees of failure is the maximum.
That is a catastrophic failure.
Okay, I rolled a 4 from 28.
There are
So-
10 communal points in the pool currently.
Oh, cool.
There are.
However, I'm going to spend the 20 risk that they've given me right now.
Cat. Cat is also like Riggs. Gives with one hand and takes away with the other.
Man, I knew I should have killed him. I got 3 degrees of success.
If you're going to use risk, does it mean anything for me to use?
It does.
Okay.
5
I didn't know if
degrees
it
of
just-
failure is 5 degrees of failure. Any way you cut it.
I'll go ahead and take 6 competency from the pool. Sorry.
To make it 1 degree of success.
Yeah.
You're all covered in bile, but you realize it soon enough.
I'm gonna use some of my. So we were minding our own business through this location, and then someone else, and you used risk, and someone else came along and made this a very not safe. And one would say a hazardous
Yeah.
location. Is this a location hazard?
No.
One of these days you'll agree with me.
One day I will, and I have in the past.
Yes.
But today is not that day.
No, it is not. I am going to use one more of my personal points to make this 4 degrees of success for no black bile, no whammy, no black bile-y.
Okay. You are still covered in the gore as you are doing this. There's no way to escape it, but you are aware of it soon enough that you're able to use your canteens, perhaps, and wash off any remaining bile, and especially around the open wounds. Faith, it was very close, and you had almost acted without thinking. Sugar, in these past few weeks, had almost become one of you, despite being dead. And so, DT, now hugging the body close and just whispering over and over, no, 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 I need you. Don't leave me. Don't leave me. I can't do this. I can't do this without you. Please don't. Please don't. I'm all alone. I'm all alone.
Hey, DT, I'm so sorry, and take time. Be sad.
I swear to you, DT, I will find out which one of them did it. I think I know, but I will make sure. And they will pay for this.
Achira,
They will pay for this, Faith.
that's fine. I think you should take DT, and I don't know, if you can take care of this, I can take care of the Citadel for now. I
If
don't know
it's-
how we're going to explain to them that we had a Romero that was our friend and that they were wrong.
Don't. It's not going to matter anything to him. He'll use it. He'll use it as
That's what
some
I'm saying.
sort of.
We're not going to tell them. So I don't think we can even bring it up. To them, they were just shooting random Romeros and helping us. So if we tell them, hey, how dare you shoot that one that was also our friend, how the fuck are we going to explain that?
We can't.
I need you to... I don't know exactly, but I'm not good with this kind of stuff. If you can help DT, just maybe put her in a room for a bit or something and keep her away from Riggs and that group.
Find out which one it was. Just make sure. I think I already know. I'm actually pretty fucking sure that I know which one of them it was. But you find out for sure.
Okay.
Because she's like this right now, but I don't know her well enough to know what she's gonna be like when she starts coming out the other side of this, and I need to give her a name or a head.
Right. But she's welcome to stay with us if she wants to. But she's also welcome to leave. We haven't really given her much. It turns out she helped us more than we helped her. We took everything from her. Gave her a fucking jacket.
That's what was important to her. That and shoes.
Okay. I'm gonna go.
All right. Achira is going to take the group to head into the mall.
Let's deal with Achira first. You, the wildlings, and the inconsolable DT, along with the corpse of Sugar, are more or less dragged through the hallways of Pine Haven. And as you come closer and closer, it's very quiet. There aren't many fires. You find Harriet, one of the echoes that has joined you, was actually here before any of you. You're not even sure how long. She's an older woman, but she's pretty spry for being in her 60s, considering the world that we live in now. She has gray hair, it's pulled back, broken glasses that have been taped and rebuilt more times than she can count. One of the lenses is completely blacked out because she has a dead eye, and the other, it magnifies her eye beyond recognition, really. She's leaned up against a chair, and it looks like she's sleeping. but she has a rifle in her lap. What do you do?
We'll go up to her.
As you begin walking forward, her head raises up and she looks kind of cloudy at you. Oh, no. Achira. Oh my God. They're going to be so happy. We thought maybe we were about to send who we could out. I'm sorry. I fell asleep. Things are bad. We're real low on food and supplies, and so we've been rationing, and I'm so weak. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to fall asleep.
It happens to the best of us, and sometimes the body just shuts down.
Yeah. I mean, it's only been 2 days. I can handle this. I've done way worse. When things first fell, I was in Philly, and that was a shit show. And gosh, sorry. Hey, kids. And she stands up, and she looks over at the crying DT and Sugar, and she looks confused.
The Romero that was helping us before was mistakenly taken out by friendly fire.
Oh. Was it the same people that poisoned the last of the food?
What?
You should probably talk to the others. I just know things are bad, and where's Faith? Is Faith alive? Oh God.
Faith is alive. Faith is fine. Faith went up to greet Citadel. They've arrived again.
Thank God.
Thank God?
Yeah,
Citadel?
yeah. I mean, listen, they're assholes, but at least they can help. I don't like them either, but they have food, they have guns, they have walls that fucking work.
The price tag is too high with them, Harriet. It always has been, it always will be.
I mean, you lived with them, I didn't. I don't know that. I mean, look, maybe they'll be different now.
They're never different. They just get worse. They always get worse. I understand where you're coming from.
Hey! From down the hallway. And then you see Camilla marching through with the kids next to her and her backpack with her papoose, her armored papoose that she keeps her kid in. She starts moving down the hallway, and you can see that she's got a gun leveled, and she lowers it. I'm glad it's you. We were just about to do something about how long it's been taking you to.
There are things that I have to tell you.
There are things I have to fucking tell you too.
Then
let's go talk.
Let's do that.
So the two of you go off. We'll come back to you. Faith, you're going up to the roof to greet the Citadel. Are you going alone?
Yes.
All right. Your head is still a little foggy, but you know, the adrenaline of the moment has cleared much of that up. And you start to make your way up the pathway that has been cleared, and you make it onto the roof. However, there were no guards here. Typically, your community has somebody posted by this door in case somebody tries to climb down into the area by your community. It's a pretty big breach of protocol. I mean, granted, everyone has been consolidating for protection, circling the wagons, as it's called. But you still have sentinels, people that are supposed to guard at these areas. This area is wide open. You step out onto the roof, and it's cold. The night air is blowing snow everywhere. You see the helicopter is winding down, and you can still sort of feel the heat of it as you enter up onto the top of the roof. You see a number of Citadel soldiers coming out. They're well armed, but they're relaxed. And sure enough, you see the glow of an ember of a cigar as Riggs marches closer and closer to you.
Back so soon?
Yeah, well, it's been a month.
Where do you get all these fucking cigars from?
I got my sources.
Are you like rolling random weeds around and smoking them? Or are these from the before times? Are these 50-year-old cigars?
Well, first of all, thankfully the fucking world didn't end 50 years ago, Faith, and I've told you this multiple times. I've got somebody who takes care of me, and they roll these beautiful pieces from a tobacco patch that they make themselves. Granted, it takes a little bit of the moonshine that we've been producing, but you know what? I'm willing to part with a little shine for some of these.
I'm not sure why I asked. Because
Are
the
you
explanation
interested in
is-
smoking
no,
one?
It just feels like you have a lot of random accoutrement that's really necessary to produce. Well, yes, it's been a month. How's it been on your end?
Kid, are you okay? You look a little hazed.
We had a breach, and we'll be dealing with it. But things aren't great here.
You had a breach.
Did you send anybody?
Do you mean that I sent somebody to kill you?
Do you know of groups that dress like those weird hooded sentinels with the swords, but also have bombs, and also want to kick our asses and take our area?
The broad smile starts to just fade off of Rick's face as he's still smoking the cigar, and he kind of pulls it out, blows out a large cloud of smoke, and looks at you very levelly. As he levels his eyes upon you. Missionaries from the shepherds, but not.
Someone's fucking with us, Riggs.
Kid, if they're fucking with you, they're fucking with me.
It's actually kind of comforting to hear. Look, I know we've had so many differences in the past, and I don't agree with everything that you all do over there, but to be honest, since I've been here leading this group, I can see why you've made some of those decisions at the Citadel. The reason it is how it is over there.
Are you saying you want to come back? You got a position there. Listen, Rowan's gone. I need a number 2. You want to abandon this shithole finally after a year and come back home?
I don't want to go back. I'm just saying that it's been hard. And if I even think it's been I've spent 3 weeks in a fucking tunnel, okay? Someone's trying to take our area. There's stuff happening did you bring any supplies?
Of course we did. More than we probably should have. Faith, you know that I fucking care. But you also know that you're taking care of my son. Camilla can hate me till the end of the day. But I flew all of you in here. And you told me you would do this for me. Keep that kid safe. If you're telling me you can't do that anymore, then you have one of 2 options. Come back home, bring anybody you like. They've got a place. Or give me Cammy and the kid.
I hear what you're saying. We're fine. We just need more supplies. It's a rough winter. We were attacked. All of our storehouses were decimated. But we'll be fine. I
need you to make a roll. I'm sorry.
No, I was going to suggest I make some sort of roll myself.
That's a lot of bullshit you're slinging, and you're not Lampwick. First, make your composure.
Three over 41.
That is
somehow.
a success. Yes. You nailed that one.
Poker face.
You're holding it together. But I need you now to make a persuade with 3 black dice of difficulty. Because the state of things has already been said, that things are bad. You've mentioned the attack. You've mentioned that you're having problems and you're scattered because of the painkillers that you're on. And Faith,
Yes.
this roll is very important.
Oh, man.
Jesus. That's not great. Hold on, some math. It's 5 degrees of failure. There's no way.
There are communal competency if you don't have any left. You still have 6 in the pool.
Oh my god, that's all of it though.
Why not use it here?
Oh.
You could use it all. I don't think anyone else will need it.
What time is it? I'm scared.
Do you see him?
It's only 8 o'clock.
Oh my gosh. Use it.
It's only 8 o'clock.
Hey guys, what if I don't use it? What happens?
I mean,
Well, you could not use all of it. You could use 4 of it, take it down to 1 or 2 degrees of failure. If you are
Okay,
feeling
I'm
a
gonna
certain
just
way.
make some choices. I'm gonna use only 2, and I'm gonna make it 3 degrees of failure. Because it's bad. I'm definitely like medicated and not feeling well. I'm not making sense. I'm
I'm
rattled.
glad. Because if you had catastrophically failed, you were going to piss Riggs off.
Oh, fun.
You were going to offend him. And Riggs can be a big giant baby. So you don't offend him, but he knows you're slinging shit.
It's fine.
Kid, you've never been able to lie to me. Ever. You pulled this shit when you were knee-high. You and Omar. I raised you in the Citadel to be more than one of these trash panda liars. You're not Achira, and you sure as fuck ain't Lampwick. You're Faith, and I expect better out of you. Tell me the truth.
Shit's bad. We got invaded. We're trying to figure out how we're gonna survive the winter. We don't have any supplies. It's pretty bad with just those things I mentioned before. So no, we're not fucking fine. But I've also been away for 3 weeks in a goddamn tunnel. I'm trying to figure out what's going on inside. So if you can give me a fucking minute to check in on my community, then I can give you a goddamn report.
All right. I'll wait here.
Who the fuck was shooting at all of the Romeros in the courtyard just now? I told you to stop
York
making
was
noise.
killing it out there. Did you see that shit? This young pup's gonna be quite the shot when things come back around. He grabs arm around a young kid. Not much older than you.
Was his name York?
York.
York.
You don't know him. Not from your time at the Citadel. Well, listen. Go check on your community. We'll set up camp up here, and then we're gonna have our little one-on-one. Same as always. We got some negotiation to do, and I offered you a place for those of your community that didn't want to be here.
I was gonna get to that.
All right? Get to it. It's been a month.
Been a hell of a month. All right. I turn and leave.
You turn and leave, and that stench of cigar smoke wafts across the space as you walk down the steps. You hear the Citadel soldiers laughing and talking, and they start taking pot shots off the roof at other Romeros out in the parking lot, celebrating every hit they make. Lampwick, you hear a dog barking.
I'm assuming I remember the dog since I
You
remember
do.
Polly.
Your mind is clearing now.
Okay, then I'm, after I have had my moment with my group, I'm going to head towards the dog. I've fed Clancy, the heart. Yeah, I'm heading to where the sound of the dog is.
You follow the sound of the dog to the caretaker's house. It's an old gray, shattered building. You spend time here. You often find yourself awakening from memories here. You don't really sleep anymore. You just sort of fade into the past and then wake up somewhere else. As you walk up the creaking stairs, you hear the Victrola playing. And you can't quite remember why that's important. But for some reason, The memory of that warm, beautiful child in your arms comes to mind. The reason for everything now. Your solace, your comfort, your daughter. Something here loves you very much.
As if this were possible, I like reach into that memory and I hold it. I grab it and I hold it. As comforting or painful or whatever it is it makes me feel, I keep it as close to me as possible and I keep going.
The barking is coming from the attic, and that doesn't surprise you. That's where the music's coming from. And you walk up the creaking stairs as if you've done it 1,000 times before. Something doesn't, your memory, something important is behind this door.
I try to remember.
If that's the case, I'd like for you to make a composure roll.
That is 18 over 46. 3 degrees.
You remember now. The girl you saved. Beautiful, dark, raven hair. A perfect, clean dress. She always walks around barefoot and she giggles even in the snow. Soft pink cheeks, bright blue eyes. She's behind this door. She's waiting for you.
I open it.
You've given her a name. Providence.
Mm-hmm.
And she loves you like a father. And the trap door creaks open. Polly, as you sit there in fear, as Providence covers her face.
Do I feel it? Do I actually hear it?
You do, but you don't hear it through your ears. You hear it through her. It's strange. Spatially, you shouldn't. You can't. You can hear through her. You can hear everything. The creaking, the wind outside, the slamming shutter, the Victrola, the dog barking. It all comes back to you at once, almost like an avalanche. And then it goes away. And you're in silence again. The figure in front of you is gone. You're at the tea party alone. And someone is walking in the attic. Lampwick, your eyes quickly adjust. You feel them go completely black. And the darkness disappears and you see colors. But you see the warmth of Polly in front of you. A smear of red and orange, like a fire, burning.
And I whip around as I now know someone is approaching me.
I smell the air.
It's her. And the dog. You smell the dog first, but then you smell her.
And I'm aware that there's no light in here? Or is there light?
No light. There's just the moonlight. And you can see that as well, but it doesn't like. Your eyes, they don't like that light. They like the dark.
I remember the dog, and I remember the moment we had. And so I do approach the moonlight. I want to be seen. And I crouch down in the moonlight and hold my hand out. Come here, boy.
As you do, the dog pulls back and starts growling. You can't hear it, but you feel it. And Lampwick, you feel arms wrap themselves around you from behind. And a warm body and soft raven hair fall around you, and this beautiful young child is hugging you from behind. Daddy.
Providence.
There's no one there.
There was someone here. There was someone here just 1 second ago, and I could hear.
I like her, Daddy. Can we make her part of the family?
We can't choose that for her.
She's scared. I just wanted to play.
It's okay. We're keeping her safe. Can you turn on the lights? I know we don't like it, but it will help her.
If you wish, Father, I will.
And then if she's still if she's starting to slip away, I grab her hand once more and I turn around and I look at her face and I say, "You're not to be ashamed of what you are, ever. Remember."
I remember, Father. You have taught me well. I'm proud to be your daughter.
And I'm proud of you.
She smiles broadly, and you see the face like in front of you as if it were perfectly lit. And she turns and she walks away and picks up the torch on the ground and moves it and lights a couple of lanterns using an old wooden box of matches. And you see that figure again, kind of lurking around the place, and lights start illuminating the space as lanterns are lit that hang amongst all this trash. And you see now the black and white photos are everywhere. Every inch of these cracked old boards are covered with the memories of people from the time before, hundreds of years ago. And rusted old bicycles and broken toys and things are hanging above you. It lends a sense of claustrophobia to this attic. And you're on the floor in front of these horrific broken dolls, cracked faces, shattered china, ruined dresses that have been propped up all around this table. And you see Lampwick. And as the lights burn Lampwick, your eyes immediately switch back, but you see his eyes for a moment, and they are black as night. Nothing else is there, and then they switch back.
Can I see her face now?
You only see her back. She's hiding from you.
Okay.
But you see her back, and it is a twisted, horrible thing. Her arms are too long and drag when she tries to stand up, and her legs bend backwards as her knees flip back. And she moves to sit and reposition herself as she kind of crawls everywhere, up the wall and to the side, and then she disappears into a pile of debris.
As terrifying as that is, there is just the smallest part of me that relaxes seeing that it wasn't fake. And I look back to Lampwick and I say, whoever that is, I can hear her.
Can you hear me?
You cannot.
No. I don't know what you're saying, but I can't.
Providence.
Yes, Father.
Can you speak to my friend here? Tell her that she's okay. Can you please?
You're okay. You're home. Father likes you.
I can hear her, but I could hear things.
If you can hear her, then Providence, I need you to help me. She can't hear me. I need you to speak my words to her, please.
Yes, Father. As you wish.
You're safe. We were attacked.
You're safe. We were attacked.
Everything's okay now. I will protect you.
Everything is okay now. I will protect you.
My family here.
My family here.
See them, not with your eyes.
My family here. See them, not with your eyes.
The living has many that are monsters.
The living have many that are monsters.
And so those of us that seem monstrous, we also have some that are not.
Those of us who seem monstrous, we have those who are not.
The music in the background plays, and you hear it as if it's trying to comfort you, but it's broken.
I let her die. She was behind. Zippy, she was behind me, and she started to go back, and then they came, and it's my fault.
What do you mean?
I tried to leave.
When?
Before, I don't...
You tried to run away.
I think you understand.
I do. You made a bad decision because you were scared, and I understand why, and it came at a price.
I was not scared.
Then what were you? Disgusted?
You have to understand why I am not gonna take you to Achira.
Do you think she would want to know anything at all about me?
That is her decision.
Then let it be her decision.
Not one that she gets to make if you follow me back.
I already know where you are. I've seen it. I've been there. I saved you from there. I know where she is. I know where they all are. And I've seen the other one whose name I can't remember, but I know her. I know her too.
It's the broken echo of these words in my head. You... Why?
Why what?
Why do you still want her?
Because I need her.
Why?
Because she is who knows me the most of anyone that's left. And she is... I need her to help me stay. Myself. There's still hope for us. We're still here. I'm here and I'm talking to you. I'm holding on. But I cannot do it by myself. I need help. I saved you. I took care of your friend. I'm not as bad as you think. I'm better now than I was when I lived. Please, if you won't take me to her, then at least let me go with you, near enough so that when you tell her that I'm there, she can decide. We have to help each other, you know this. I want to help.
I never understood why she cared so much about you.
I remind her of someone. And we've been through a lot.
Achira. Camilla takes you back into a space that was once a J.C. Penney. You don't see much activity. It's pretty dark. It stinks. It smells like sickness, death, rot, human feces, filth. You see now that Cammy is very, very thin. She's lost weight since you saw her last, but there's a sallowness to her cheeks that doesn't speak well to her situation. The two children seem all right. You already know the story. You know what she's doing, what she's sacrificing. There are cots that have most of your community either sitting or lying in them. People are starving. There has been a number of fires, and the wildlings have been hunting. The ones that you left behind have done everything they can. But there are only so many rats. It's not enough, not for this many people. And the longer the wildlings are out hunting, the less people there are to take care of everything else that has to happen here. Everyone is sort of gray and ashen, and they look to you as you and Cammy walk across the space. Cammy takes you into a small corner and pulls you into a cubicle. Do I need to tell you how bad it is?
I can see it, and I can smell it.
Somebody found a little bit of food that we had gathered together out of our storehouses that survived the attack, and they poisoned it. Some of these people are not going to recover. I've done everything I can. We've pulled everything that we can. We've used what we can to help them, and some of them are all right. But Carl and Rebecca are dead. We've lost 2 more, and that happened on my watch. She's crying now, but she's angry. I did everything I could.
I don't doubt that you did. Do you have any suspicions of who it might have been?
Well, Arlo, Declan, and the rest of those bastards are still unaccounted for. We haven't seen anyone. Whoever did it, they were good, like a ghost.
Are there any leads at all? Anyone who was close to Arlo or tracks, anything that I can
Fuck, Achira, I'm the best at any of that, and I've done everything I can, but I have to manage these people and take care of them. They needed to see someone was holding their shit together, and I did my best, but you can still search, but I don't think you're going to find anything out there. I spent over half a day obsessing over that storehouse. How they found it, how they got through the locks without us knowing. It was locked. They poisoned it, and they relocked it. So somebody either picked the lock and did a damn good job of it, or it's somebody here, right now. Someone in this community, as we speak, is still trying to kill us. Did you find it?
Achira's voice gets quieter. Yes. But
I don't like that.
I know. I don't like having to say it, especially after seeing everything that you've done here, and you've done amazingly. We did not expect to be down there for that long, but Cammy, we found it. We did. But we weren't able to uncover it. The entrance, explosives were used at the entrance, and it felt like forever. It was so hard. It felt like forever. We were down there, and we're right there. We just need to clear more rocks out, and we will have it. But Citadel is here now.
What's going on with your new stray? What happened with that thing?
When we were coming, one of the Citadel soldiers I think
Don't
they
say
thought,
anything else. You know I know just as well as anyone else. They were my people. And I know what fucking assholes they can be.
Yeah.
But they weren't thinking about that. They just do things. They're
Yeah.
like rabid dogs.
They're a hammer, everything's a nail. That's what they are.
All right, well, I gotta say, there was a lot of talk about that and about how you and Faith allowed a dead thing to be a part of this group, despite the fact that she was helpful.
They were there and they saw what Sugar was doing.
It doesn't fucking matter, Achira.
Why does it even matter at this point?
The dead have killed everything and everyone that they know. You have to understand why they'd be frightened or pissed off at that. It's not an easy thing to accept, and certainly she scares the shit out of me. Well, she did.
She's no longer a problem then, is she?
I can't say that I'm upset about that.
If you had seen how... I know what it sounds like right now. I know what it sounds like that I'm missing a Romero. I know what that sounds like.
Robinson, the boy that is always near Camilla at this point, brings Faith in. Faith, you've made your way back down and you've seen everything that I've described here. And you were being led to the others by Robinson. And the boy brings you in to this small little sort of makeshift hut that Cammy's put together. And you can see there are maps. Some of your maps are spread out here. And clearly she's been trying to find resources in the general area. But you can see that there's just red X's everywhere in the mountains and in the surrounding territory. They must have been searching for days and days for any kind of scavenging. And it looks like they didn't come up with much. You've heard already about the poison. And it's clear when you saw the other survivors. So all of you are together.
Would it be fair, everyone in this room, to assess that this community is dying?
Someone has been very good at their job. Poisoning it from the inside out, knowing our weak points. I wish I knew who this was. One day I will find out, but yeah. At this point, whatever the Citadel brought, I don't know how long that would last, and I don't know what they would want in trade for it.
I know what they want. They want 5 to 6 people to go with them. And I wasn't going to send anybody against their will, but looking at the group now,
I think a lot of them are going to volunteer.
I think they're going to go.
They don't know what they're getting into.
They sure as fuck don't.
There isn't you can't tell people. They'll go and then they'll see and they won't be able to escape. That's what happens.
But don't you think some of them would rather choose that than dying here with us because we can't fucking
We're
lead?
right there, Faith. We have it. It's just, we just need more people to
Achira, you can see what I see. We don't have enough strength left in the people here to get that bunker out of that rubble. We found it, but there's no way we can get through it. This last 3 weeks were a waste of time, and everyone up here was dying.
It wasn't a waste of time. All we need is more help, not the Citadel. We just need more sugars is what we need. How messed up does that sound?
Achira, I'm gonna let people go.
After all of this.
I'm gonna let people go if they want. We can't make that decision for them. We can warn them all we want about...
I don't agree, Faith. I don't care. I don't think Reese has changed. I don't think that bastard's ever gonna fucking change.
But people are gonna die here under our command doing... We're out of food, there's nothing to hunt out there.
Then we'll find food.
The only way we can get food from nothing is to attack other communities.
So we'll do that.
So we're the Citadel. What's
We'd
the
be
fucking
better,
difference?
We'd be better at it than the Citadel.
We're becoming the Citadel. What is the difference between sending them back to the Citadel or us becoming them?
We wouldn't become the Citadel, Faith. We wouldn't.
This is how all this
We
started.
raid one community and we take enough that we survive and we leave them what they need to survive as well. We just take what we need. That's what we do.
Cammy. Maybe you and me and Achira, maybe a couple other people in our community, they'd be like, yeah, let's do that. We're definitely gonna follow these standards we set upon ourselves in this moment while we're not almost to the brink of death. Everybody else is gonna just start taking whatever they can. Greed, when you're dying, knows no bounds. This is
desperation.
This is the road to becoming exactly like what we don't want to become anyway, so...
The rest of the community doesn't have to know. We can keep it small, and as far as they will know, is that we found supplies.
Has he gotten
It's
to
not
you?
a bad idea.
Has he fucking gotten to you?
What?
Riggs.
He hasn't gotten to me. This whole situation has gotten to me. How are we going to survive when we're being attacked or food keeps getting poisoned? If we find food, they're probably going to poison it. I don't see any way out of this that doesn't involve hurting other people. Once we start doing that, how are we any better than Citadel? And you guys can make all of the excuses you want, but this is... I was raised there. I know exactly how this works. When we're kids, they tell us we're just helping each other. We're helping our family. We don't have to worry about anybody else outside of our circle. Only us. And that's how you are... That's how you justify killing everybody who crosses your path.
The Citadel does wholesale slaughter. We would not do that.
Right now? Maybe, again, maybe us three wouldn't.
We just need maybe 2 weeks more supplies so we can get through to that bunker.
I'm with Achira.
That's all that we need. It's not a way of life. It's not us changing anything. And like I said, most of the community doesn't need to know.
Barter with the Citadel. Give them whatever they fucking want. Get what we can off of them, and then we take it, and we get what we need to survive from somebody else. You don't have to make that call, Faith.
And if you really feel really bad about it, once we're able to get into that bunker, we can pay them back. We'll leave some packages on their doorstep or something. But we have to deal with this now, and the Citadel is never the answer.
We don't even know what's in that bunker. It could just be more rubble. We might not be even able to get into there.
We know what happens when you get in too heavy with the Citadel. That we do know. That is not an option, Faith.
I will negotiate all that I can to get whatever supplies from the Citadel for now. However we get the rest of our supplies, I can't stop you. But I'm gonna have a chat with the remaining survivors and let them choose. I'm not gonna force anyone's hand. I'm not doing it.
Jackboot steps into the space.
Fine. Less mouths to feed.
Look. Your voices have been raised. Not everybody heard, but I did. Some of the others did too. We want to make our own choices, but I gotta say I'm with Faith. We trust Faith. She's brought us this far. And I know, even though a lot of us might die, most of us, with a few exceptions, are standing by her. No offense to you, Achira.
So you choose to go to the Citadel then?
I'm not saying we're all going to the Citadel. I'm saying we give people a choice.
It's
I'm not throwing anyone to
they
the wolves.
groom you.
I fucking
That is
know.
what they do.
Don't
It
forget,
is a little bit at a time
Lots
until
of
it's
us,
too much.
lots of us walk that road. I can't go back. But I don't want to see these others not have that choice, despite what they are. And if there's enough of you, maybe you could change what they are from the inside.
It doesn't work that way.
Shut the fuck up, Jackboot. You don't know what you're talking about. Cammy's pissed and walks off.
None of my wildlings are going with you. None of them would agree to this. And they are the lifeblood of this community. They have been making all these little X's everywhere. I am so fucking disappointed in you right now, Faith. I thought you could stand on your own, but deep down, you're still Rig's best little girl.
At least he raised me instead of leaving me to die. I walk out. I'm gonna try to go over to Riggs, unless you're gonna switch scenes.
No, you go upstairs. I think it's fair. We'll come back to the rest of the survivors. But right now, Faith, how do you feel?
Faith is very conflicted. I understand all of course, everyone's points, but I can't find a solution that doesn't involve stealing from other people and causing other people to die, or sending people to the Citadel. So I know there's one other option I have. So I'm gonna take it.
You walk up the steps back to the roof and you see Citadel soldiers are still taking pot shots at the dead, entertaining themselves. There's a pair of them that are playing cards on a air conditioning unit that's been rusted away to next to nothing. They kind of look at you and nod as you walk past, and near the helicopter, kind of seated next to a large mounted gun, a rail gun on the side of this thing, this military helicopter, you see Riggs, and you see a very generous pile of boxes. There's food, medicine, diesel, a small generator, and more. You look pissed.
I just have the same expression you always wear.
Well, that's the burden of leadership, kid. I warned you. It wasn't going to be easy. They
No.
hate you? Do they hate you?
No, they fucking love me, Riggs. Why else would I look like this?
That's what it takes. That's the price. Good leaders can't be friends with all your fucking survivors. Good leaders do what have to be done.
Yeah, you're right about that.
So what needs to be done, Faith? Let's barter.
This community needs drop-offs of food, supplies, and ammunition for the entire winter, not just this supply you brought here. And I know you wanted 5 to 6 people to go with you in exchange for these goods, since we have nothing else to barter. But you gave me a choice earlier to either send Camilla and her son back with you, or for you to take me. If you guarantee that supplies will be delivered twice a month to this community, and that you do not try to take anyone from here against their will, I'll come back. I'm worth 5 or 10 of these people. They're all dying.
Faith, you're like a fucking daughter to me. You're worth more than 5 of these fucks. I need you back at the Citadel. And this is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna meet your terms. But I'm gonna place soldiers here. This is going to be an outpost. We will care for and protect these people from a distance. They do not have to deal with my men. The women that are here will not interfere. Those that choose to interact with the soldiers of the Citadel will do their own as they like. They'll set up shop, I don't know, over there. And he points off to one side. You and your people have been here on the north end of the mall. They'll take maybe the east or the west. If you meet those terms, you come back with me, I guarantee you this place won't only survive, it'll thrive.
I pick who's sentries here from your group.
Deal.
Great.
He spits in his hand and holds it out to you.
God damn it, I don't wish to stop fucking doing that. I sort of slap the back of his hand. Remember, Riggs, you promised, and this is something that's going to sustain this community, your son, the safety of everyone here. It's not just for me.
His smile drowns when you say his son. Yeah. Trust me, I know. I may be an asshole, but I know how to keep people alive.
I know.
Welcome back to the Armed Forces, kid. We're glad to have you.
I need to go get my things.
The reclamation will be waiting. And you walk away as you have made a very serious decision. Achira, how are you feeling?
Achira is riled up. And it's very complex because she also feels failure. She feels like she's failed at just about everything that she's tried to do for these people or at Pine Haven. And that's just a cycle of hurt and a low simmering rage. Achira probably didn't read Moby Dick, but this bunker has now become her white whale.
Achira, you're walking through this space, and as you look around at the cots holding these bedraggled people, this community, you realize that what you said is very true. There's not one community here. There's 2. The wildlings are doing much better. they've kept this community alive in many ways. Not that the others haven't contributed, but they're not made for this world. Echoes, those who are sort of lingering in this new world, not born to it. You see the difference very clearly before you. And your wildlings are doing well. Bebe and the others are on the far side, and they're comforting. Almost like silently, without words, without flowery speech. They just all have their hands on DT's back as DT holds on to the destroyed corpse of Sugar. And as you get closer to them, to your children, that mantra that you always say sort of slips away, and you see DT and Sugar in front of you. And DT looks up with tear-streaked eyes. I just want to go home. I need to take her home. I need to take her back to Father. And that is where we're going to end our session tonight.